Once again, it's your boy, the world class smartass. I'm in the building with the People's Network presents another edition of Outlaw Radio. The information that they don't want you to know or somehow they want you to avoid. This is the presentation of it. It's your boy, Kevin Barnes, the world class smartass. I'm in the building. The mouthpiece of the movement, aka the Negro Whisperer. And I have a very special show planned for everybody tonight. I didn't tell nobody because this is the way I do things. I believe spontaneity is the best way to go, right? So I got my co-host here with me. The People's Network presents Outlaw Radio. Shot King is in the building. Talk to teach, listen to learn. Pop your P's, man. Cross your I's or cross your T's and whatever.
Dot the I's, right?
Right. Do some of that shit. Let's
man,
get my man a
brother,
seat.
talk to teach, listen to learn. Your truth transfer engineer. Brother with a different perspective, trying to use my powers for good. How y'all doing this evening, man?
Man, we holding on tight, man. It's a typical week in Black America. It is a typical week in Black Milwaukee.
Right.
North Side is the best side.
Yeah.
And if you ain't from Capitol Drive, who cares if you dead or alive? I'm just playing.
Flourish.
I'm just playing. Right. You have to throw that in, right? Like, Flourish!
Hey.
Right, but I have a very special show in tune for you tonight. It's called Dirty Money. And realistically, what you have to understand is that the almighty dollar rules all, right?
That's what they say.
So you'd be surprised what people are willing to do for $1. You know, just to have 2 or 3 more than you, right? Excuse me, I'm a little apholistic tonight. I've been in the midst of Arctic vortex. You know, I live in the upper Midwest, so, yeah. Right. Last stop on the Great Migration. And this is how we look sometimes, right? Like, so we know that. Wind chill factor.
Wind chill factor.
We tropical people,
it's
man.
It's a factor.
Stop it.
Right.
So it's Outlaw Radio, man. We ready to act the fool and do what we do. This will be a YouTube show. I want to give everybody the schedule before I continue. First and foremost, you have to understand that the People's Network is an entity on Spreaker. So we'll live stream shows whenever we want to. And normally that will go on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. What happens is I managed to get Shot King involved. So on Thursday nights, those shows will be on the YouTube page. Please go and subscribe to the YouTube page.
Like, share,
follow,
tell a friend, tell a friend.
414 Homegrown Product.
Right. Do that.
But if you want to hear the show, go to our Spreaker page. If you want to know how you can get access to the shows, I tell black people all the time, just click on the damn link. Listen, Kevin Barnes.
Double click on
Facebook. The People's Network.
Right.
Chocolate City. You know, the People's News Network.
Right.
The original Black Panthers of Milwaukee, Wisconsin Facebook page, Instagram page, the People's Network Instagram page, Twitter People's Network. There's no way you cannot support the movement.
You ain't trying hard enough.
Right. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Right? Tell your girl when she catch you up. Say, baby, at least I'm trying.
It's for you, baby.
Her booty bigger than yours. Yeah. But listen, this is official like a referee whistle. And I decided to put a twist to it, pretzel style, because I do want to talk about dirty money. We have a whole show. Here's the deal. If you just listen to the first hour of the show, you'll see all of this verbatim on YouTube. But if you listen to the whole 2-hour show, you hear all the other shit we talk about.
Right.
You know, I am a pro-black, unapologetically black man from Milwaukee. But what I decided to do tonight to show people that it's not just about my bias. I actually have a white person on my show. And like, we talk about civil rights, like this is Black History Month, right? So the first white dude to ever be on the People's Network, Scott, we wasn't YouTubing. So Epicet is mad. Like, I was the first white person. But, you know.
Right.
I got.
Visually.
I want you to tell these people who you are.
My name is Joseph Walker. Live on the south side of Milwaukee. And back in 2014, I was almost murdered by the Milwaukee Police Department. So,
and that's the common denominator, because at a time when we live where, as black men, we know that the transgressions committed against our people via law enforcement are egregious.
Were you with some black people?
No, not that night. But
were you in a black neighborhood?
exactly.
Oh.
If you're in a minority neighborhood, it says, "Hey, gun everybody down."
Some got on you, and unfortunately, bro.
Right.
But see, I wanted to talk to you about this because this is something that we state on this show all the time, and I tell poor white people, like I know that you have white privilege, and I know that you exist, but there are a lot of poor white people, and if you look, they are just as disgruntled as us. Like, you look at the way, I don't want to use them as an example, but just to talk turkey since, it's turkeys in the room.
You ain't called me no turkey, did you?
I was going to say something about you, and I diverted. I'm trying to use my powers for good, like you say.
Yeah, you wise, too.
Right, so I see white boys go do the neo-Nazi thing. I see them do the militia thing. I see them go to the military. I see them be solitary and confined. And like black people say, y'all the ones who shooting up schools. Y'all the ones, right? So my point is this. There's white angst as well. Because there's white privilege and there's white angst. So like the one thing from my initial conversations with you that I kind of picked up on is like, damn, who'd have thunk during the 90s that poor white people on the South Side was getting persecuted too? Like, I never even had a clue or an inkling, right? So I think you hold a unique perspective tonight on the show, and we're going to talk about what happened to you. We're going to talk about what happened to you, because I think people want to know what happened to you. But I want my listeners to get to understand, because this is the great unification. See, poor people all need to be unified. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like white, black, white,
that would be
Spanish,
effective.
yeah.
Right. All of us. People, brown, the Latinos, we all, Hmong, Asians. See, poverty is a thing. It's a thing. And it sets forth a certain set of circumstances, and your decision making is based on that. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, like I went to school, like I lived in North Dakota. Like I went to school in North Dakota. I met some white dudes.
Capitol Drive to North Dakota.
Right, and imagine that, right?
Right.
From the foe to the show, right?
Yeah. Hey.
Right. So I'm saying I met some white dudes up there who, the way they described their upbringing was actually poorer than mine, right? Because I grew up Capitol Drive, most beautiful neighborhood in the world, Rufus King neighborhood, 17th Capitol's Chocolate City. You know what I'm saying? We got into the thing when the crack came. It became, what it was. But
right.
I met white boys who said, well, I said, damn, you was poorer than me. Shit, I'm supposed to be the poor one here.
Mm-hmm.
So it made me start to understand that the plight of poor people is that. And it's all the same. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what race you are. I don't care what culture you come from. If y'all was poor, we got something in common. Because black people make something called hog head cheese. You know what that's made of? A ground up pig's head. And they make it like a loaf, and they slice it, and it's a delicacy. They call it sauce.
I can't do it.
Right. Well, I did
it.
I did it. My parents were sharecroppers. They came from the dirty. So,
do it.
Welcome to the show, man. It's Dirty Money. And I wanted to get this out. First of all, shout out to 3041 North.
Shout out.
The only urban country club on the north side of Milwaukee.
Right.
414-810-3131. Holler at Mr. Terry. Holler at Mrs. Brown. They are friends of the show, but they don't help me write it.
Right.
So the opinions expressed on Outlaw Radio are solely those of the motherfucker that said it. Know who to be mad at, right?
Yes.
I don't try to tell you how to think or what to say or what to do. I just give you the information. You come up with your own determinations. So I want to say that. I love 3041.
They're doing something big tonight on Valentine's night, right?
Well, this is Valentine's Day. That's why I played 8-Ball and MJG Daylight.
Yeah.
Like, baby, this is why I come home late. That's an old Johnny Taylor song. Catch me up again.
Right.
Can't see the forest for the trees.
Hey.
But Dirty Money, man, I transposed my face on a food stamp today.
It looks very natural.
You like that?
Yeah,
Do you see that?
Yeah, I thought I seen it before.
I put my face on a food stamp. It was crazy. It's a good look. Go to my Facebook page and check that out.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, man. It was real nice.
Mm-hmm.
The main thing that we have to understand tonight is that we have an alternative voice, right? So I know people want to comment, and I know
come on.
we welcome constructive criticism,
Absolutely.
right?
If it's constructive, yes, sir.
Right. Just don't be disrespectful.
That's it.
Or we might have to ride. We might have to ride on your ass, right? You don't want to be the dude who mama had to answer the door when I'm standing there. No, I'm just joking. Dirty Money is, the reason why we call the show Dirty Money is because I see right now people for the love of money. It's that great OJ song.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We seen Steve Harvey. And we've long labeled Steve Harvey a coon. Like, I'm sorry, Steve. I love Regina as much as you do. That was my show.
I'm not sorry, Steve.
Right. Well, Steve just, his argument with Monique today, and then we have Floyd Mayweather, who in the face of Gucci and Prada and all these brands that we're slaves to, give us the proverbial finger once again. Like, it's not like this ain't new, right?
It's
like, you can't be loyal to a brand. Brands are not loyal to people.
No.
They're not.
Let me tell you, it's corporations versus people. The things that apply to people, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill, that all of the morals and ethics, don't apply to corporations, because they are put here to do the same things to you.
We talking about money, though.
That's what I'm talking about.
Money make the world go round. Like, don't ever believe that you have a sustained existence with no money.
So
like,
no, because I think that's trained behavior.
Yeah,
because money didn't always exist.
Okay.
I think the world...
Currency did. Bartering did.
Okay, kalaka.
Value for value.
Whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? A trading of goods and services.
Shout out to you for trying to argue with me early. I appreciate that. Like, I get that too. That's fine. We still gonna have a good show.
I just humbly disagree. That's all, you know what I mean?
So I'm saying, like, dirty money, man. Like, money is dirty, man. I remember, when I was young and I would have some money and I would have $1 playing around the house. Yeah, and I put the money in my mouth. And my mother said, take that dirty ass money out your mouth.
Right.
You don't know where that shit has been.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, but it makes us sell out. Why do we have strippers? Why do we have prostitutes? Why do we have dope fiends? Why do we have dope dealers? Why do we have blue-collar criminals? Why do we have people who will...
Why do we have bankers?
Who would totally extort another group of other people?
Why do we have lawyers?
Because the love of money is great. Right. It's all about the bread.
I'm just saying it's two sides.
It's all about the paper, man.
Yes, sir.
And black people really need to look at institutional structure.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we understand that this is all about the paper, like some of this shit we put on racism, it's not about racism. It's about the money. It's not about, like, gentrification in its essence, when we talk about redlining and we talk about, institutionalized racism and segregation, but at the end of the day, this is about paper. This is about money. This is about, like, when I look at gentrification, it's just about, hey, man, what them young folks say, we got to secure the bag.
That's classism, isn't it?
I think it's about even classism is based on money, though, because
that's my point. That's exactly based on money.
So that dirty ass money, man, that money will make your mother. Biggie said it. Your mom's a hide in the bushes. On the 10 Crack Commandments, Biggie said shit. You know what I'm saying? So that money, we look at Steve Harvey. I listen, go to the People's News Network on Facebook. I put up a classic clip of Steve Harvey talking about Michael Clark Duncan, rest in peace, doing the monkey for, remember when they remade the 8 movie? Yeah. And he said on there, go and watch it.
No, I seen it.
He said on there, like,
I remember it.
For enough money, I will act like a true monkey.
Well, he told you. He was for real.
He followed that up by meeting with Trump. He snitched on the brothers to the women, talking about think like a man, act like a woman. That was some whole snitch shit, too. We let that go. And then, now his argument with Monique that goes viral, in which he tells her, this is the money game.
We black. We can't act like that.
Right. It's not about money.
We can't
it's about
say what we want to say.
Integrity.
We can't be who we really are. And we just can't do that. Boss are getting mad. We can't do it.
That's your fault, Jace.
Hell out of here, man.
Right. It's
some
your
bullshit.
Fault.
No, it's not.
It's your fault. I'm blaming you.
Yeah, if it was up to me, he wouldn't exist. So stop that.
So I'm just saying, welcome to the show.
He'll be working at Walmart.
Dirty money. We'll talk about Floyd Mayweather's illiterate ass too. We'll talk about what else I got on my talking point.
Now you got.
Ti flamed the shit out of
I thought you,
Mayweather. You
thought
better
was
go to
gonna play
YouTube
that,
and.
man.
I tried, man. It fucked my whole system up. Like I just back off that shit because it's a rough mix and it's on YouTube.
Man, he like you do it. You go to YouTube.
Man, if you can get it on your phone, man, we can get it in. I'm just saying. I tried to do it. We damn near didn't have a show, man. Hit like, hit follow.
Hey.
Leave comments. You know, as long as you ain't disrespectful. Because like I say, I guarantee you, I'm bigger than I look on YouTube.
Even if you're out disrespect, we just ignore you.
Right. I'm too old for that shit. I don't be wrestling shit no more.
It's
But my brother, so I want to kind of get you acclimated to where the temperature of the water is, where we're going.
Right.
And I got your whole thing because you brought your information. I'm going to give you a chance to let my people know why you're actually here. With that, I want to segue to this because how much time we got, bro? So I got enough time to run my mouth, talk some shit, and swallow spit.
Yeah.
So we looked at this week in Milwaukee. We've had I would say an epidemic, right? Because the reality of this is when people decide to engage in anarchy, then we have a problem. And when we engage in anarchy, that means your badge is no longer respected. You know, cop my ass, cop this. You know what I'm saying? When there are individuals who make up their minds that, you know what, it doesn't even matter who you say you is. You come through my door and I got 50 hot ones in the box, I'm letting loose. It's a sign of the times. So we had the third death of a Milwaukee Police Department officer. And shout out to my boy P. Reynolds, who's a law enforcement officer. Much love and please. And he just like family. Put your hands on him even though he's a cop. I'm gonna bring my guys. How you gonna jump me with the police, right? Much love to him, man. But I want to say, like, there's varying opinions of this officer's death that just transpired this last week, right? In the face of Philando Castile, in the face of Tamir Rice, in the face of just a lack of social justice for people of color at all at the hands of Gestapo law enforcement tactics.
Hello.
Please wake up and be accounted for.
Right.
You know, preachers say, look at your neighbor and say, neighbor. This is some bullshit.
Bullshit.
So, but this is a different thing.
Is it?
Yeah. Because this is not a brother.
Right.
Who apparently, allegedly, law enforcement attempted to murder. On GP. You got 2 minutes to tell them what it's about.
Well, they showed up at my house on a non-emergency phone call, mental health call. 5 years I had a bad time in my life and people had problems. So, fortunately, I was living with my mother and we didn't get along. And her friend, she was on the phone with her friend who made the situation worse. Okay? So that's how the police showed up. Saying we want to take them to mental health. It was a non-emergency number, but they said I was making threats and all that, and that I had guns in the house. But I was a legal gun owner for 11 years, right? So guns, I guess, make cops nervous.
Yeah, they tend to. Yeah.
So they showed up, and they hit across the street in the dark, and I didn't know that, and it was Saturday, so my son was over, and they had my mother call me and say, lure him outside. But they didn't. They had my phone number and they didn't call me and say, hey, we're the cops, come outside and come with us. They didn't do that. So, and that's how it was set up. I was unaware they were outside. And I came out on the porch. Me and my son were outside. There was no presence of police. It was nighttime. There was no people outside. And the next thing I know, I see some dark clothes, a gun. I turn around. I'm on my porch. I open my storm door. And that's when they started shooting. My back was to them.
How many times they hit you?
One time to the center of my back.
Okay. So now there's actually forensic evidence. We'll get into that. We'll talk about all of this. It all goes in. It's Outlaw Radio. It's Dirty Money. The People's Network presents Dirty Money. Shout out to Shot King. It's official like a referee whistle. Happy Valentine's Day. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to Outlaw Radio. Dirty Money on the Thursday night, February 14, 2019. Happy Valentine's Day. That's my Valentine's Day look for you. Excuse my appearance. I mean, it's cold. We've been in the midst of an Arctic vortex.
Oh, natural.
I have become a mountain man. I've known nothing for the last few days except for snowblower and snow blowing in my face. So believe me, by the weekend I'll get the cheekbone definition back popping. I don't want to disappoint these ladies. I say, hey,
we get to call you cub meat.
Right. Well, you don't get to call me nothing with meat involved, right? Like, don't ever say meat towards me.
Bear meat, cub meat. Like, put that together.
Right. Even if I'm barbecuing, say,
context.
Don't ever say meat again around me. Pause. Type shit. So it's Outlaw Radio, man. It's the world-class smartass, man. The mouthpiece of the movement.
Yeah.
The militant with a microphone, a.k.a. the Negro Whisperer. And I'm in the building with my brother, my co-pilot with Outlaw Radio. Two of my co-pilots, actually. I have my brother Steve here from Shot King.
Yes, sir.
And then this dude right here. I don't like to say his name. Tell the people who you are.
Oh, my name's Jerome.
Right. Rollo.
Talk to teach, listen to learn, man. I'm still here trying to be healthy, wealthy, wise, free, happy, and full of joy, man. You know what I'm saying? That's what we doing.
That's what we do. And then I got my brother from another mother right here tonight. Tell the people who you are, my brother.
Joseph Walker from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, South Side. I was almost killed by the police in 2014, and I want people to know that prior to body cameras, if it's a negligent shooting, they will cover it up.
Right. I think the fact that you got shot by the police makes you like almost honorary black. Now, just from watching you got a shamrock on your knuckle.
Yeah, because of the shooting, you know.
So I do my research. I seen the shamrock and I said, well, we got to, Kev, don't be bringing no neo-Nazis to the West Side, to the Chocolate City Studios. We're going to talk about what happened to you, man, but I just want you to feel at home. I want you to kick back and relax and just really understand the vibe of Outlaw Radio. Like on Outlaw Radio, we don't do what they say we should do. Right, so I shouldn't be talking to you, according to them. Okay. Because God forbid white Gen Xers and black Gen Xers sit down and have a conversation. That's a problem. You know, if Gay Edgar Hoover was still alive, he'd be like, oh, hell no. Clyde, get on this. Clyde be like, get out my ass before I get on it. Inside joke, literally, for Gay Edgar Hoover.
Ew.
Right. Hey, guys, revolution is nasty.
Hey.
Hit us up tomorrow night. We'll have the Panther Power Hour with the General, King Rick himself, from the original Black Panther Party in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. See that there?
Right there.
Logos. 3041 North, Black Business. Your business here. Because the only logo back here that I won't replace is that one. Hey. As much as I love Willie Dynamite, he can go. And if you got a business that needs to be shown, or an album, or you do poetry, or you make kites, or napkins, or sweet potato pie.
Listen, somebody getting rich off toilet paper.
You sell hog head cheese.
Right.
Put your shit up.
Hey,
Hit us
for
up.
real.
Teamwork make the dream work.
Yay.
The ultimate, and I wanted to get this out, because I want to get everything spit before we get down to the meat of the show. And the meat of the show is this brother getting shot up by police and them covering it up. That's the meat of it. But, the fat of it is Gucci and Prada. Like, shout out to everybody who follows the show. I didn't do a show Saturday night. I just didn't feel right? And Brother Jason came and said, what's that out there? It ain't on tonight.
I tried to talk him into it, man.
Right, I wasn't on the one that night.
Yeah.
You got to talk to Boosie and see how JB told him, you got to be on the one. I wasn't on the one Saturday night.
I got it, man.
I wasn't on the one. So we didn't do the show, and it was called Poppin' Tags. I promoted it. People loved the artwork that I put up. Not as much as they love me putting my face on the food stamp today.
Well, we're going to have to do that show another time.
Well, we're doing it now. And the whole thing then was Gucci and Prada with the black face. And I don't know what it is about white people. They think blackface is funny. Now, we go all the way back to Al Jolson. It's a historical reference to this. I just want to say this. First of all, don't have sensitive ribs. Because I never thought White Girls was funny with Marlon and Shawn Wayans. I never thought it was funny. As a matter of fact, I remember when it came out years and years ago, I said, well, that's not cool because if we do that, if they do that, then we'll have a problem with it. Now, I will say this. What's my man name who played Iron Man? what's his name? What is
Downey.
it?
Robert Downey.
Robert Downey.
Robert Downey Jr.
I think in Tropical, remember that movie?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he did that was
Tropical Ice.
Tropical
or
Thunder.
Thunder.
It's the funniest shit I've, and he had the whole
He
thing down.
He did it.
And it was blackface, but it was funny as shit. And I can take a good joke. I can't take a bad one though. That's classless.
Context.
I did a show a long time ago called For Shits and Giggles where I did all racial jokes.
In the show.
Go back and look on the Spreaker page. I did the worst race jokes you could ever imagine because I can take a joke. But I want to tell white America, blackface ain't funny. And I want to tell black America, did I say white America? I want to tell them.
Tell both of them.
I want to tell black America, whiteface ain't funny either. It's not funny. Stop doing it.
But in Tropic Thunder, right? The name of the show. Right?
That shit was funny.
No,
so
but wait, no, because didn't the brother on the show, like on the movie, didn't he charge dude?
He
up
got
about
at
that?
it.
So
Like,
he said.
What do you mean, you people?
He said what we all was watching the movie, right? He wanted to say. You know what I mean? So that point was expressed. He called him on it, punched him in the shit if I ain't mistaken.
I'm just saying, like, you know, I think Tracy Morgan probably had the best, like, even when it comes to, like, the LGBTQ, RSTP, Elemental
P.
When he said, you telling me you can take a dick in your ass, but you can't take a joke, I thought that shit was funny. Like, people didn't laugh. I was cracking up. Like, so I'm just saying, let's keep it even Stevens. So we just see in Port Washington, was it Port Washington? Was it Port Washington?
Depends on what you're talking
The
about.
high school.
Something happened in Port Washington.
Well, in Port Washington, where the brother of Nicolay got this really, his brother's third ranked in the country as far as high school basketball. And they went, listen, white people, it's not funny. Stop doing it. And stop saying when you do it,
wait.
well, I didn't know.
They know. And it's happening during Black History Month. Cut the plausible deniability. Fuck that fake ass ignorance. Stop acting. They know.
But let's talk about this. Some of my favorite black comedians, some of their funniest shit is their imitation of a white person. So, like, we gotta tolerate racial humor a certain. We have to. Come on, son. Like, if you listen to them Richard Pryor jokes about the Mexican, the Asian dude, and black dude and the white dude,
so jokes about nooses and shit is funny to you.
Well,
you can find some
now
humor
you're
in that
crossing
shit,
the
right?
line. Now you're crossing the line because when you talk about a noose, there is a treacherous.
So there is a line to be crossed.
There is.
My point.
There is.
Yeah.
But let's not overreact about everything. Now, I'm saying with Gucci and Prada, it's time to overreact because here's a brand that black people, even poor black people, invest in this brand because they feel like if I don't feel good inside, at least I'm gonna look good outside. So you buy Gucci. Like, I don't have any Gucci. It wasn't nothing for me to burn. You know, even when I've at the points, there's peaks and valleys in my life. At the points when I had a major coin, I didn't buy Gucci.
But let me ask, from the outside looking in, what do you think about it? Are black people overreacting to that? What do you think about it?
Well, don't put that on him, though. Don't make him speak for
asked
all
you-
white
just
people.
asked
He's
you
like,
what-
I ain't come for that
listen,
shit,
I just
man.
asked you-
I'm trying to tell y'all the
I just
police
asked you
shot
what
me.
he thought about it. I just asked him what
Okay,
he thought about
okay.
it. Like,
I don't want him to
no
feel
right or
pressure.
wrong answer. I'm
Okay.
sorry. If you can pass on it, say fifth. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. Yeah, I see. I see what's going on in the media. You know, it's like they push that out there for some reason.
Sure.
But you know, I don't think none of that's funny or nothing like that though. You know, and Mayweather, he's fake to me anyways. You know, you know, he probably threw a couple fights here and there.
Money
you know, paid it off,
Mayweather,
make
right?
that
He
money
bought the
back.
dollar, right?
Nobody could tell him nothing.
Right.
So I'm saying, but like, listen, like I said, I know you didn't. I just want to get interviewed. I didn't come here to
Well,
talk.
I ain't mean no harm.
But I'm saying, no, I know you didn't. I'm saying, but as a white person, to be honest, you done heard a funny black joke before, though, right? Because I've heard a bunch of funny white jokes.
Heard them all. You know,
Wait.
every different race.
You giggled a little bit.
No, I'm saying we heard all different type of racial jokes.
Okay.
You know, with different races. I'm from
Yeah.
the South Side too. I never grew up with too many white people. You know, I grew up Spanish, black, few white
Okay.
people, Asian. You know, there's a mix on the South.
That's what's
so.
up.
Low
That's
end.
real. That's real. That's
Low
real.
end. So now, respect.
Real
I'm
talk.
not,
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
I said, I'm not trying to put that on you. You're
Oh,
not a
man.
token. I didn't bring you on here to
Nah.
speak for white people. Right? You know what I'm saying?
I don't.
But my problem is this 1.5 trillion dollars that we spend on consumer products, in which we are so loyal to brands that don't give a shit about us. The ultimate explanation I can give to you in terms of lack of corporate responsibility is the fact that they call Coca-Cola that for a reason, because they actually used to put cocaine in the drink.
So let's do like Bill Cosby and go back 30 years and lock the motherfuckers from Coca-Cola out for, you know what I'm saying, putting coke in motherfuckers' drinks.
Well, they hadn't met the Contras yet. They hadn't met the Contras.
Cosby
We weren't trying to
prevent
prevent communism in South America at that point.
Yeah.
So that justifies the whole cocaine thing in America, right? So yeah, man, it's outlaw radio, man. It's dirty money, man. For the love of money, people will rob their own mother. In the words of the famous OJs,
Right,
the mighty OJs, as Don
Yeah.
Cornelius says.
Yeah.
I think it's funny that during this time when all of this comes out, and you're dealing with blackface, and you're dealing with Trump, and you're dealing with this overt racism, and I think what I like to label as a deliberate separation of people. Like, I think they deliberately put messages out there to keep us from talking to each other.
Absolutely.
Because if we all understand, ain't none of us got no paper.
No.
Ain't none of us got no money.
Well, no, that's the game.
It's like if all prostitutes got together and said, we all hoes. Maybe I'm going too far.
No. Tell us about it. Tell us about it. No, but listen.
It don't take them long to jump in, right?
The fact of the matter is, man, that's the system. That's the whole game, right? To be honest with you, they don't give a fuck about poor whites or poor Italians or anything else. You know, it's about the upper 1%. You know what I'm saying, versus everybody else, or 2%, whatever you want to argue about. But we know it's the upper class versus the lower class. They're trying to get rid of the middle class and make it the haves and the have-nots. You know what I'm saying? The only thing they do is learn to separate us so we don't all come together. So they put you above us, you know what I'm saying? But they don't really give a shit about you either. But they'll give you trinkets and toys just to keep you in between, to keep us from being together.
Well, I think it depends on his behavior, because Steve Harvey said...
And I'm generalizing.
Steve Harvey said to Monique,
Weezy,
you were a problem. Because she told Oprah, and the genesis of this is she told Oprah, Lee Daniels, and Tyler Perry, which is the Trinity. She told them, suck her, right?
We can't talk.
She
like
said,
that.
even if I had one, suck it. And she said it at a concert. And Steve Harvey said, you was a problem. She said, you know I wasn't wrong. Y'all all told me I wasn't wrong.
Behind closed
She
doors.
said, all I wanted you to do was call me. He said, no. Sometimes you got to take one for the team. I mean, I'm paraphrasing Steve Harvey.
What team?
He said, in order for my kids not to fall, I got to just, basically he was saying, sometimes you got to dance a good dance. And I just watched Django, and Sam Jackson said it best. Who that nigga on that nag?
Do you agree?
No, I don't agree. Come on, man. It's a feared victory.
Okay.
What good does it do you to win a fortune and lose your soul?
Hello,
it's
son.
a hollow existence.
Hey,
You got to stand for something or fall for anything.
anything. Damn.
So that's kind of where it goes with that. That's the gist of that. I just want people to get woke to vote, and see, the power is in the hand of the people. So regardless of whether we black, white, orange, purple, yellow, fuchsia, and I always say somebody gonna hit the fuchsia chick, so it's gonna be like a magenta baby. It's the melting pot.
You nasty.
Well, I am.
You like that cat from Star Trek. We just
It's just an inner
fuck green bitches. and
galaxy freak, right? This is an intergalactic
You
freak.
just go from planet to planet
Right.
screwing.
Just
them.
hey, maroon kids, hey, it's room for all of us.
So, but what you think about them voting Colin Kaepernick?
Thank you
Did
for
you
helping
get-
me transition,
yeah.
because the Wisconsin legislature,
Yeah, I want.
which we knew that we have, I didn't call it a blue wave, I called it a blue splash. Remember we did that show?
Maybe we ought to call it a mist.
Well, it was just right now. It's looking more like a
looking like it, right.
right, like, right. Because y'all obviously you got a black caucus that says we're unapologetically black, and then here's Colin Kaepernick, a brother from Milwaukee.
Where's he from?
Milwaukee,
Man,
who probably took the greatest social stance in 20 years.
he's on like Time magazine. Like, how do you not?
Man of the year. You
Man,
struck
I mean, come on,
But
man.
this state is 86% white, and it's only 12% minority, and 85% of that 12% lives in southeastern Wisconsin, and 40% of that population lives below the poverty line.
And the other
Like I
percentage is
said,
cool.
ain't none of us got no money. So let's get to my brother. So, but you got like your case. Like, I watch you. Your case ain't just like, oh, they shot me. No, you got like fragments. You got like pictures
Yeah.
Spit all that.
Yeah, I'm out there, posting evidence that I had to collect. Now, they shot me April 6, 2014, and 3 weeks after that, they killed Dontre Hamilton at the park under the same type of mental health circumstances.
Right. Okay.
Christopher Manning. If you didn't see the documentary, the first police came and cleared Dontre, and then the other cop came on a separate and killed him. Right, shot him 14 times. So that's what the Milwaukee police were on, especially on mental health calls. So they were just out there just shooting people, and.
So if nothing else, and we call it in our community, we call it luncheon. If you was tripping, and I'm not saying you were because I wasn't there. If you were going through an episode in which your mental health at that point was like, kind of like you was just bugging, because we all go through that, right? Shouldn't our law enforcement officers be required to be sensitive? Because if I look at Ernest Lacy, if I look at Daniel Bell, they said Daniel Bell was, for all intents and purposes, illiterate. He actually couldn't read. This is what they say. I wasn't there. He actually couldn't read or write. He actually didn't comprehend traffic signs or whatever. We know red, green, whatever, yellow. But there's a basic misnomer here. Ernest Lacy, for all intents and purposes, I believe he was a schizophrenic. Like, I believe he was diagnosed as a schizophrenic, right? So, and my brother who was out in the burbs where he was in the shower when they came and they tased him to death. When we talk about Dontre Hamilton being diagnosed and known to have mental health issues, that officer, like you said, upon initial contact, there was like, yeah. But he came gung-ho, Officer Wojnarski, right? No offense to Polish people, but he came in and bong, bong, bong. So there's a lack of sensitivity for mentally ill people. So if you come out your house, and we had a brother, and I don't know his name, Jason. Brother Talk. Remember, we talked about the brother who was with his family, and he got out the car and he put the gun to his head, and they killed him.
Yeah, South side.
Yeah, on the south side.
Yeah.
So when we talk about people going through the stressors that they go through now, and I bug out, I flip out, because I got access to all kinds of, you know what I mean?
Debauchery.
Well, I can get high as I can to escape. I'm self-medicating, but when I'm bugging out, you get there, and as a cop, your thing is, I fear for my life, so it's pop goes the weasel.
Right. But in my situation, there was a timeline. It was a 40-minute timeline. So I'm having not really natural, but arguing with my mother and her friend. Her friend was on the phone. So her friend's geeking up the situation. She's not exactly normal, okay? And I was having problems too, but that has nothing to do with them coming and shooting me and shooting the house up. So, if they wouldn't have broke protocol, none of this would have happened. They broke a lot of protocol that night. And
protocol, I like that word. I really like that word. I'm glad you said that. So what kind of protocol did they actually violate? Like what protocol? What, like, in terms of their written bylaws and their procedural, what did they break?
Well, I didn't look deep into that, but when you have somebody that's supposed to be, without talking to them, not getting their side of the story, and he got guns in there, and this hearsay. The fact in my case, my mother's friend told her what to do and say, and I got it all documented. I even got the phone call with her friend in the background telling her what to do and say, and she did what her friend told her to do. So, that was pretty much the situation. This ain't the first time that the cops were called, or I've been in contact with cops in the past. Like, what they're trying to say, that like I'm this crazy guy on the porch and I refuse their commands, and that's not what happened.
So they opened fire. What did they shoot you with?
40 caliber, but there was actually, like, they ran out at night. I was on my porch. There's a street light on my porch, so they could see everything I'm doing. So they ran out at night and they shot me with a 40 in the back. And actually, 4 cops started shooting, but they didn't open fire until I was almost from house my back to them.
Okay.
Okay.
Welcome back to Outlaw Radio. The People's Network presents Outlaw Radio Dirty Money on a Thursday night. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm on my Varnell Hill tonight. Did you miss me? Right? You got to watch the episode. If you don't know about Martin, I'm sorry. I'm a Gen Xer. I'm over 40. Please forgive me. I'm not a millennial. I don't even sell weed to millennials. Not that I sell weed. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
Told it all. Just told it all.
Welcome back to the show. I got Joseph Walker here live with me.
Yeah.
Just in case you are just tuning in, shout out to the South Side. Apparently.
Shout
And
out.
I didn't even know in the 90s, like I met some essays, from the 90s. In the 90s, I met some LKs, and from the South Side at a mutual gathering, and they was just kind of like, yeah. And I knew some brothers over there, but I'm so capital, I never even paid attention to it, so I want to welcome him to the show. But I wanted to get this, because like people say, okay, so what's the end game? Like, and I know when something traumatic happens to you, what you really look for is closure.
Right.
So I don't want people to say, oh, he just trying to get some money or whatever. Like, I want you to be able to tell these people, what do you really want to accomplish by putting this on the airwaves?
Well, I want people to understand that when things happen, a negligent police shooting, that there's ways to fix that. And prior to body cameras, I just want to say that they do anything they can to cover it up. And that's a fact. That's the truth about a police shooting. That's negligent.
Right.
What I want people to know is that in the Milwaukee area, the DA, John Chisholm, and all them, they're pretty crooked. They're crooked. I mean, if you haven't seen the Jerry Smith Jr. shooting,
Okay. Yeah.
they shot him on body camera, gunned him down, and that's justified to them because there's an air conditioning unit next to him. I don't know how that justifies the shooting. All right.
Okay.
I don't know if people know in that shooting that there was an altercation down the block, and some female pulled a knife on him. And she has a record for doing that. And the police came and kicked the knife down the sewer and didn't investigate. And that's what happened before he got shot in the rooftop. So there's a lot of things going on that people don't know. And I believe the police that shot him are still on the job.
Okay. Now, what about the individuals that took part in what happened to you? Are they still working, or did they ever go through any kind of like, because you said they violated protocol, so was there any kind of protocol? I'm sorry. Was there any kind of like reprimand? Like, right. Thank you.
No, that's why I'm working on that now. They had me locked away for a few years. Just to, everybody was against me, and it was easy for them to lock me up. So
okay.
So I had to get out and get evidence proving the police report and proving their negligence, and I'm still gathering that. And I've been doing it for 15 or 16 months, and I learned a lot that you're not going to get nothing done. Maybe at the Fire and Police Commission, maybe, but I had a bad experience with one of their investigators, Cheryl Pantane, who's an ex-cop who pretty much scolded me to get out of the building and sticking up for the cops.
Ooh.
So
she nasty.
And they only have one investigator.
What's her name? Somebody hit
Cheryl,
her.
like
Call in
Cheryl,
if you hit her. Back in the day, I'm joking.
Cheryl Pantane.
We're gonna put her pictures up.
I made a complaint about her.
Right.
So it's a runaround. Turnout
Right.
Affairs is a runaround. Now, the initial police report is to make you look evil as possible.
Right.
The hearsay, they put it all together.
Yeah. Well, we always watch how the narrative changes immediately following a police shooting. Once again, I'm just here to observe. So if you're pro-police, if you're it doesn't, let's just talk. Let's have an intelligent conversation. Usually within 24 hours of a police-involved shooting, the narrative gets set for the individual that was shot. It doesn't matter if he or she was an asshole or an angel, right? It's like, well, he had weed on, and I go to Texas, in particular, where Botham Jean was shot, and it was a cop who wandered into his house
Oh yeah.
And she said, well, he didn't obey my commands. But I'm thinking, like, if you walk up in my house and I'm coming out the kitchen
Bitch, you
with a
in his
cell.
house. Stop it. Stop it. Bitch,
What he said?
you in his house. He should have shot your motherfucking ass between your eyes.
Some people think that she was in the house because she didn't like his loud music. And she was
Don't give a
pissed
fuck. She was in his house. He should have
She's
broke
been
her
charged.
fucking neck
It's
like a
murder.
ninja.
She's been charged.
It's murder.
She's been charged officially. But I'm saying, like, there's so many. Like, Philando Castile, for me, is the most egregious ones. And I didn't have to look far because I'm from Milwaukee. And I witnessed to, the Seville. And, like, we watched, that was a period where it was just going down. And the people actually made a statement and said, hey, man,
He did everything he's supposed to do. And you see that cop just panic so quick and open fire on him. And
But as a black man, I'm a little bit desensitized to it because we expect police to be aggressive towards us. Now I'm saying, growing up in Milwaukee in the shadow of Harold Breyer, who was the Bull Connor of the North, as well as Mayor Meyer, who was the mayor of our city for 30 years, so he was really able to like implement a very racist power structure. You got to really research the effect of having a mayor for 30 years and a police chief who coexist with organized crime. We talk about Balestrieri. I don't want to get into it because I don't want nobody shooting at me because I'll shoot back. I'm just saying there's information
He's
to
so
be
nice.
understood.
He's a devil. Go ahead.
So when we talk about, like, I grew up with the Harold Breyer cops, like, and my mom was one who actually walked across that bridge. By the way, I said race jokes, so I want to do, like, the most racist joke ever, but I think it's funny as shit. So, do you know what the longest bridge in the world is? I think he might know this one.
I don't know.
You never heard this one? Nobody ever heard this
Go
one?
ahead.
Call in if you've heard this one. The longest bridge in the world is the 16th Street Viaduct because it connects Europe and Africa. That's an OG racist joke from Milwaukee that my mom, who came here in 1959 and kind of went through this whole crappie thing, who looks like Woody Allen, right?
Senior.
Yeah. Look how he goes from his collar to driving a bus when he dies of brain cancer. Too much information. I'm just saying, in Milwaukee, there's a pattern.
But,
There's a plan. There's structure to the plan. So when you talk about egregious police behavior, now listen, like I said, shout out to my guy, and I got other guys who are law enforcement officers. No disrespect, because a job is a job is a job is a job.
No. Go ahead.
But when it comes to human lives, like if I'm gonna open up, if I got my 40 and I know I open up, there should be consequences behind that. So if I open up on you at work, I should have to stand before a commission and say, that was wrong. You lose your job because you used bad judgment.
Fuck you. You go to jail. You go to prison the same way
Zimmerman
everybody else
didn't.
do.
Yeah,
Stop.
here's signing
I'm
Skittles.
surprised somebody ain't slit his throat by now.
Right. That's why we still buying Gucci. That's why Floyd said he ain't fucking with y'all.
Cool.
Because y'all talk a lot, but y'all ain't gonna do shit.
And no,
Black
because of
people
niggas
talk
like you.
Oh, me? I don't have any
no,
Gucci.
no, not you.
Okay, you got a little excited.
Yeah, well,
Let's bring it back down a little
I thought
bit.
you were speaking on Floyd Mayweather.
Grab him, Joseph.
behalf
I'ma
and
hit
shit.
him.
Yeah, don't do that.
So it's Outlaw Radio, man. It's Dirty Money on a Thursday night.
I'm the
and,
lightest dark-skinned nigga you ever seen.
like, I don't mean to make like light of any situation, but I think you gotta laugh or you'll cry. And what you went through, I'm honest when I say to you, I know a lot of brothers who've gone through similar situations. Like I know brothers who are in wheelchairs. I know brothers who are. I know a brother who's missing a leg. I'm not gonna say his name. In a spot, they run up in there, bong bong with the shotgun with the double I bucks, and there goes the bottom of his leg. To this day, he has a prosthetic leg, and I don't know if they settled out of court. But see, one thing you gotta understand about settlements is we as taxpayers pay those settlements.
Once I complained.
Even with the Arthur Jones
'Cause
thing
I
with
had no
reverse
shoe.
discrimination, when Arthur Jones came in and tried to say, nah.
Then I met a man who had no foot.
Right. So I'm just saying we understand, you get empathy, not sympathy, but you get empathy on the black side. Because this is what we've been going through forever.
Well, the most people that I get, people attacking me on Facebook when I post evidence and I try to speak some of the truth.
Republicans?
Mostly white people. Trump supporters.
Wow,
So,
really?
Yeah. So.
And shout out to Nate Bowie, because we had Nate Bowie on here who had spoke out against Lincoln Hills and being gassed as a youngster. he eventually got pissed at me and like unfriended me because Mandela is my guy and shit.
Wait,
So
yeah, Brendan Jr.
oh man, he told me though before he did. He's like, I'm not you, Mandela, your guy. I'm not fucking with you no more. So he just off me. But like,
Well,
it's,
most people don't tell you. Like they just do it.
but Nate, right? But Nate is like I'm saying, he's a white dude who was in Lincoln Hills in the '90s
Yeah.
as a when we were all. Cause I'm gonna tell you, in the '90s as a juvenile, your boy was buck naked. It was wild.
Again?
It was the crack. Jason, shut up, man. Like he was there. And
I'm
shit.
just saying, I don't want to. This visual imagery.
No, the
and
'90s.
shit,
The
I
'90s.
can't unsee shit.
Listen, the '90s represent my adolescence. Me really going from a boy
Frolicking.
to a man. So just in the midst of that, we were in the fallout of the crack epidemic. Like we had to deal with what happened.
Crackheads,
Because I was
crack babies.
in 1985. I was 10,
Yeah.
but in 1995 I was 20, and we was dealing with
Crack.
what happened.
Yeah.
It changed the city. It changed urban America, you know? And we now know that this is a war that was waged on our backs because I'm going to go ahead and give it to Republicans. Ronald Reagan had decided that he didn't want communism in South America, so they would help the Sandinistas and the Contras. Google it.
And then caught Alzheimer's and couldn't remember what he did. Ain't God
Eating
good?
jelly beans,
Ain't
man.
God good? Won't he do it?
Just say no. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor,
Neighbor,
fuck the Republicans.
fuck you.
So I'm just saying the connection that I felt when I seen your story is, I'm like, I believe him, and I believe they did him wrong, and I believe they violated his protocol, and I believe they violated your civil rights.
Yeah, they did. They almost killed me in the county jail. They refused me medical. I was rushed to the hospital twice in like 2 days.
Rest in
I-
peace to my boy T-Buck, man. His family about to get $7 million.
Sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, they.
You can't replace T-Buck, but that $7 million to help his kids go to college. Go
See,
ahead.
they, yeah, right. They, county jail, especially when Sheriff Clark was there, that's what they do. They,
Oh my goodness.
you
How you
know.
say it, Jason?
Cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
good riddance of him.
yeah, so.
And now he's actually criticizing Ernell Lucas. Now this is not to take away from where you're going, but it's more the same. Ernell Lucas, his campaign manager was apparently John Chisholm's son, who's 20 years old, a fresh college graduate.
Great connection.
And now he was given a newly invented position, chief
Great
of staff for
connections.
Ernell Lucas. He has no political experience, no law enforcement, and he's making $85,000 a year. He's John Chisholm's son. And when I seen that, I said, man, ain't white privilege good?
Hey.
Maybe I should have married. My girl should have been a little. No,
Why-
right? It's Valentine's Day. I love you,
yeah,
baby.
Yeah, you doing all right.
Right, you about to get me put out.
The North Dakota getting to you.
I'll bring that up. Man. Don't nobody know nothing about that.
Somebody do. Somebody got pictures, God.
You stay in violation. But no, man, I want you to know, we understand. I don't want you to think that we don't understand.
All right, we absolutely.
Like when
do.
you talk about the North Side in terms of people of color, we totally understand, man.
Well, a lot of people out there don't understand, and that's the problem. And a lot of people, like in Milwaukee, I like to see this more coming together on a lot of situations. You know, like the Black Panthers and a couple people from the South Side. You got Team Havoc. They're trying to get the South Side, North Side
Miranda,
together.
man, and the Team Havoc, man, those dudes is awesome.
Right, that's what I mean.
Absolutely,
We
yes,
trying to-
sir.
we trying
Shout
to-
out, man.
Get the South Side. Just
But see, and we all like Miranda's been on my brother. Miranda's been on my show. Shout out to Chris Johnson from Kingfish MKE.
Yeah, we fuck with them. man.
What's my man's name? The William Poster who rides up with like an AR-15 on his back and like guns and knives. And I told you I thought it was over. I was holding General down, but when I seen William Poster coming, he's 6'7", I said, Revolution finna run.
That's what's up.
I ain't have no gun. He had like 7 of them.
Yeah.
So there is a semblance of that. But I think the powers that be don't want that.
Oh, they
No.
get rid of it. They offer money.
Yeah, they don't want that.
They don't want
Man,
that.
Come on, man.
And all these
So they-
government folks over here in downtown Milwaukee and Milwaukee, they don't care about what's really going on.
What's-
You know that.
yeah.
They worried about the east side. They ain't worried about.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
But fool me once, shame on you. Fool me 23,000 times, shame on me at some point. You know
I'm
what
saying she gave you crabs
We
the
need to
first
understand
time.
that.
How you get crabs the second time?
Yeah, we
I had to simplify it
We
for my
went to
brother.
Red Lobster. I don't know what you talking about, but you know what I'm saying. Other than that, no. But seriously, after a while, you know, if you can't recognize the banana in the tailpipe, god damn.
Well, you know, with my shooting, we're just gonna break it down. There was 4 cops shooting at me, and none of them saw a gun.
Why are 4 people shooting at one person?
But check this out. That's the police report says different. But you know, in the Internal Affairs interview 2 months later, the cop that was shooting at me with a rifle admitted we didn't see a physical firearm. We just believe he had a gun.
So he's busting on GP.
And there was one cop that testified, Lisa Perselli, who saw everything, but she wasn't shooting at me. She said, yeah, I didn't see him with a gun. He was not aware we were there. I heard somebody yell one word, and then he started shooting. So it gets deeper than that. You know, you see what I'm saying? And the cop that shot me in the back committed perjury 4 times, and I got the evidence of that. In fact, I was at the FPC 2 weeks ago telling them about it.
Fire and Police Commission.
Yeah, 2 or maybe 4 weeks ago, right. And try to get them to listen. You know, I think I exhausted, you know, everything I could in Milwaukee. You know, I think I'm going to start going to Madison and snooping around, figure out what I could do in this situation to a higher level.
Okay.
Because Milwaukee, to me, is really a joke. Internal Affairs, they get out of here. You know, they just...
It's all the same check.
It's all the same thing.
They all ride the trolley.
Right.
I want to say this. I want you. How can people, just in case they just because I know I was only gonna be able to give you a snapshot. How can people like get in touch with you so they can see all of the evidence and not just get kind of some of it, but like social media? How can people just like get to talk to you?
Well, I haven't set up too many things. Right now, I just got the Facebook going on. My other Facebook was deleted. Joseph Walker is my Facebook.
Okay.
So I will start putting more videos on because my other profile was deleted. So I got to redo a lot of videos, and so that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get justice. I'm not really too worried about a lawsuit, but that helps get justice. But I'm trying to get that cop fired. I'm trying to get them to look at this. I wrote Internal Affairs for more information. They're giving me the runaround, so I got to write them again. They want it in writing for the information that I need. So it takes time. It's not like it's just, you know.
Right. It's bureaucracy.
Bureaucracy, yeah.
This takes time. And
Okay.
for the cops, I was going to say, for the police that are supposed to be good police, right?
No such
I just
thing.
want them.
No, hold on, man. Pete, my boy's good people. He good people.
Who that?
My boy, I already said his name.
I'm
Well, let me tell you.
We'll
Here's
give you no chance to go at it.
no,
Let Joseph
okay,
finish.
Yeah, let me finish. Yeah.
For the good police, you know, if you're a good cop, you got to realize that these cops, some of these cops, you know, they did a crime,
Okay.
and they're lying. Well, at least the one that shot, you know,
Blue Wall.
right. The other ones are saying that they're following the lawyers.
Right.
Oh, we believe he possibly, you know, but none of them saw a gun. So why are you shooting at me?
I think the great John Shaft said it best. John Shaft said, the badge makes you too black for the badge, too blue for the people.
Blue Wall.
So, you know, there's definitely some law enforcement reform that has to be had. Hit this brother up, hit follow.
Yes.
Any information that you get, you can put into the People's Network, the People's News Network. I think you're in there. I'll add you if not. And it's important that people, you know, collectively stand up together. I hate saying come together, but I think, you know, a united voice is a united voice. I do want to say this. Myself and Brother Jason are going to talk about some more current events. We got a little bit of time left. I want to thank you for coming on, man.
Yes,
I
sir.
appreciate you for coming to the north side, the beautiful northwest Milwaukee, Wisconsin, to the Chocolate City Studios.
Hey.
Holler at 3041 North, 414-810-3131.
Yes.
Weddings, bar mitzvahs, birthday parties, whatever.
Yeah.
Divorce parties. Holler at Mr. Terry and Mrs. Brown.
Retirement.
They do not agree with everything we say on the show, but they love the fact that we have a
You're
platform.
right to say it.
Hit up Shot King Photography, man.
Shout out.
I want to do a little hip hop. I got to do hip hop, so we got about 20 minutes left. I'm going to take a musical break, and then we'll come back and we'll close this thing out because this is the opening salvo. Tomorrow night we'll do the Panther Power Hour. Saturday night we'll do the week-ending edition of Outlaw Radio, which is butt naked. Not literally, but figuratively.
Thank you.
We'll be right back after this.